Edson Barboza versus Giga Chikadze takes place this weekend in the main event of UFC Fight Night Vegas 35, Barboza versus Chikadze, and I can't wait for this featherweight main event. This is going to be a great one. Two top 10 featherweight contenders, albeit barely in the top 10 of the featherweight division. Number 9 Edson Barboza versus number 10 Giga Chikadze. In my opinion, the winner of this bout has so much to gain. Number 8 is Dan Ige, who we all know Edson Barboza has a win against. Josh Emmett is at number 7, and he's been extremely inactive recently because of his injuries. Arnold Allen only really has a good win over Sadiq Youssef, and he's at number 5. In my opinion, don't get me wrong, I like those guys that are ranked above them in the rankings. The winner of this bout should arguably jump above Josh Emmett, jump above Dan Ige, maybe even jump above Arnold Allen. And listen, Calvin Kattar's been inactive as well. Who knows, if he stays out for even longer, maybe he naturally falls down the rankings, and the winner of this one can take the number 5 spot in the featherweight division. Maybe number 7 or number 6 is realistically up for grabs right now, though. Edson Barboza, Giga Chikadze. It's a Barboza fight, you know what I'm saying? And it's a Chikadze fight, don't get me wrong. I like Giga Chikadze's style. He always has entertaining fights, great finishing potential, good scraps whenever it goes to a decision as well. Edson Barboza, though, I just will tune in regardless who this man is fighting. Watching Edson Barboza compete is a real privilege, in all honesty. Just to be here and watch it happen, I'm so glad he seems to have found a new sort of, a new steam to himself. Like in the featherweight division, he seemed to lose it a little bit in the lightweight division, but arguably, did he even lose it in the lightweight division? I understand he lost to Kevin Lee, Khabib Nurmagomedov quite brutally. Those are grapplers, not really ideal matchups for Edson Barboza. Has always been his problem. Guys that can pressure him and move him backwards and also have the threat of the takedown seem to do very well against Edson Barboza. However, Edson Barboza, in my opinion, beat Paul Felder clearer than Dan Hooker did, in all honesty. Edson Barboza, who knows, with a couple of correct decisions going his way, could still be in the top 6, top 5 of the lightweight division right now, and maybe would have went on to beat some other guys. Let's not forget he has a win over Dan Hooker as well by TKO. Edson Barboza, featherweight division, got robbed against Dan Ige, has been looking amazing in the division so far, whooped up on Makwan Amir Khan. He was just too good for him in the early 2 rounds of that bout. Third round, he just sort of knew he'd won the fight easily, so he accepted bottom position. He could even win the 3rd round as well, though. I think his last fight against Shane Burgos, the high pace that was, and the fact that he didn't slow down and still had power to get a finish in the 3rd round, showed that we're even seeing maybe a better version of Edson Barboza, because we all know, in high-paced fights, Barboza completely gasses towards the end of the 2nd round and around the 3rd round and all throughout the 3rd round, and that's all his opponent's chance is. Make Edson Barboza throw as much as he can at me, somehow live through it like Paul Felder somehow does, and then sort of get onto him towards the end of the 2nd, the entirety of the 3rd, maybe try and get a finish there. But Edson Barboza showed, in the featherweight division, man, you can't just walk him down. He is a big guy. Giga Chikadze's an amazing opponent as well, though. Really looking forward to this matchup. He's been looking great recently. Got that body kick KO over Cub Swanson. Relative ease in the 1st round. I mean, I picked him to beat Cub Swanson, but I thought he was just going to school him over 3 rounds on the feet by being a better striker. But no. Giga Chikadze schools him. Body kick, straight away, 1st round, down goes Cub Swanson, Giga Chikadze gets a finish. I will say this, though. Barboza ain't Cub Swanson, man. And I'm also going to say this. I don't think we can realistically judge Giga Chikadze based on that last performance against Cub Swanson, because, listen, I watched him kick the shit out of Brandon Davis's body for 3 straight rounds, and Brandon Davis is shit. Okay? I watched him kick the shit out of his body for 3 straight rounds. Davis never went down. I saw him do the same thing to Jamal Emmers, land a bunch of great body kicks there. Nothing really happened. Was it a perfect body kick at the perfect time to perfectly equivalate to a 1st round finish for Giga Chikadze? Maybe. And maybe we should take that into consideration. Maybe he's rapidly improving at a rate that we can't possibly fathom. But in my opinion, he may have got a real perfect fight against Cub Swanson. I don't think that same fight would happen the same way again. I think they maybe in a rematch would go to a decision, would go to some later rounds. Either way, he's a very dangerous guy, and this is going to be a great test for him as well. Edson Barboza, this is really where you find out just how good your striking is. Oh, you think you're a good striker? Here's Edson Barboza, dude. Let's see how good of a striker you really are. I think the fact that Giga Chikadze is never going to shoot a takedown it really does benefit Barboza here. When you think about all of Barboza's former opponents, Dan Ige, Makwana Makane, even Shane Burgos does shoot takedowns now and again and do some ground and pound and stuff like that. And I'm sure Barboza was worried that maybe that would be a game plan of Shane Burgos, because Burgos can grapple a little bit as well. He's a great wrestler. He's a big guy for the division. If you look at all of Barboza's previous opponents, at some point in all of those fights, there's a thought in Barboza's head where he's thinking to himself, this guy might take me down. He's going to want to take me down. I think this is maybe the first fight in so long, other than maybe the Dan Hooker fight, and look how that went for Edson Barboza, where Edson Barboza is not going to have to worry about a takedown in any way whatsoever. I think that shows up the best version of Edson Barboza in this fight, and I think he's going to get the job done by decision against Giga Chikadze. I'll say 4-1. I can maybe see Chikadze getting the 5th round once Barboza knows that he's got 4 in the tank. Maybe Chikadze gets one of the earlier rounds, one of the middle rounds, and Barboza just picks up the other ones to make sure that he wins. I can see Edson Barboza getting this one done. There is always that worry that maybe in the later rounds Barboza starts to tire, gas out, and Chikadze makes a little bit of a run. But Giga Chikadze's not really shown me astounding cardio, and he's not really like a pressure-based opponent either. He even has a lower output than Edson Barboza himself. With Shane Burgos, I picked Shane Burgos to beat Barboza because I thought, listen, Burgos has got a granite chin, okay? He can take great shots, he can take damage to the calves, he can take damage to the body really well, and he non-stop moves forwards at an extremely high pace, and he tries to overwhelm his opponents. Chikadze picks and point fights and waits for his moments on the outside. I think that's so good for Edson Barboza here. It gives him space to work all of his kicks. He's even got a reach advantage here while being a shorter opponent. Always going to be an advantage in these kind of fights when it's two great strikers. Those little advantages you can have, being a shorter guy and having a longer reach. The tall guy's got to work his way on the inside in certain boxing exchanges. You got a longer reach than him, it's going to be a problem. Volkanovski versus Holloway is the perfect example of that. However, I think that Barboza's got this one in the bag. He's massive for the division. He's looking better than ever. He's looking in better shape than I've ever seen him in. I don't know if you've seen the recent pictures of Edson Barboza, but the guy is shredded beyond belief. I've never seen him in this kind of shape before. He is in peak physical condition for this fight with Giga Chikadze. Really looking forward to this matchup. And he knows, man, if he wins this one, there's a Korean Zombie title elimination bout potentially next. The winner of this fight, especially in the case of Barboza more than Chikadze, I would say, is in position to get themselves a title shot. Who knows, maybe Chikadze can get himself one, but I feel like Chikadze, if he wins this one, probably 2 more wins before he even gets himself on a title shot. But either way, great matchup, really looking forward to it. But I want to say this. You're a good striker versus Edson Barboza, I understand. How good are you against Edson Barboza after one of his calf kicks? How good of a striker are you against Edson Barboza after 2 of his calf kicks? How about 4 in the first 5 seconds? How good of a striker are you? You saw what he did to Shane Burgos. He's done it to other opponents before. He went straight to the calf kick. Immediately against Burgos. It was like, right, I'm just going to fucking destroy his calf and then win the rest of the fight easy. That's all it was against Shane Burgos. Oh, you want to pressure me? Come forward and play that game and play on the feet with me. Here's 5 fucking calf kicks within 10 seconds. Have fun walking for the rest of the fight, dude. I really like Edson Barboza's mentality. I think he's going to go out there, chop at the calves early. And man, I'm looking at stats here. Very even stuff. Not really too much to be told from the stats. But one thing I will say, Barboza's competition level is just completely different to Giga Chikadze's competition level. Listen, lightweight division, Barboza's got wins over Beneil Dariush. Barboza's got wins over Dan Hooker. He arguably beat Paul Felder. He might have been ranked in the top 5 right now. He probably should have been if he beat Dariush. Dariush moving up would have made him move up. Either way, the stats. Higher output and landed per minute for Edson Barboza. I think that's a big deal. Usually when you see a guy with a massive output advantage or a strikes landed per minute advantage over Edson Barboza, that's where they're going to have the advantage because they can pressure him and move forwards. Chikadze has a high output, don't get me wrong, but a lot of that is because of finishing someone and landing a bunch of follow-up shots, which is like 5 in like 5 seconds, so you really rally up a lot of those strikes landed per minute. In like a distance-long fight, Chikadze's output's nothing too insane. I think Barboza's going to be okay. Not getting pressured, not getting overwhelmed. Their striking accuracy is exactly the same at 44%, but then again, Paul Felder, Jamal Emmers, you know what I'm saying? Brandon Davis, or not Brandon Davis, Paul Felder, Jamal Emmers, Dan Hooker, Brandon Davis. You know what I'm saying? Different stuff. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Omar Morales, Like, there's just different levels of competition here by far. 44% for Edson Barboza. The fact that it's the same is actually kind of bad for Giga Chikadze here. Pretty similar strike and defense as well. 59% for Barboza, 60% for Giga Chikadze. Strikes absorbed, way higher for Edson Barboza. Of course, Chikadze's got a couple of quick finishes. Hasn't been in the UFC for as long. Hasn't had those wars yet that a lot of people that are strikers do have eventually in their career. And I think Barboza's got the option for a takedown here. He's the guy who's got that option. That's a huge advantage. We saw him use it against Paul Felder. We saw him use it against Dan Ige, I believe. We saw him use it against Makwana Mekani. I believe he was on top at one moment in there as well. Using some great grappling there. Not shooting takedowns, but like winning grappling exchanges and accepting top position here and there. I feel like Edson Barboza's going to have a really good time against Giga Chikadze here. I think it's a tailor-made matchup. Chikadze's got a real good chance to go out there and get a real big win over a great name. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure he's amazing. I've seen all the Georgians in my comment section telling me that I'll rue the day that I fucking picked against Chikadze. Like, these fucking Caucus dudes speak like they're in fucking Middle Ages. It actually pisses me off. You'll rue the day you ever doubted the Georgian master Giga Chikadze, and I'll come back and show you, once it's all over and said and done, who the true victor was, and I'll be back in your comments the day after the fight. Like, it's... Fuck off with these fucking weird-ass insults and threats. I'm picking Edson Barboza in a striking match. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing far-fetched things here, in all honesty. Barboza might be able to beat Max Holloway. Alexander Volkanovski. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? If Barboza lands 5 good calf kicks against Holloway in round 1, am I wrong that he might have a chance of beating him? I reckon Holloway would beat him. Don't get me wrong because of the volume in the later rounds, but in a 3-rounder, I don't mind Barboza's chances. The 5 rounds is the only problem I have here, but the fact that Chikadze's not really been the guy to really pressure people and break them down and go to the body with the punches and really smother him against the cage and shoot a couple of takedowns. It just doesn't really add up to me that he's going to be able to break Edson Barboza in those later rounds. And I think he's going to have taken too many body kicks, too many calf kicks to even effectively pressure Barboza in those later rounds. I think he's going to win round 5, lose the first 4 to Barboza. We'll see how it goes. This is going to be a great one. 3 out of the 4 strikes that Swanson landed on Chikadze in the first part of the first round were leg kicks. And Swanson's a bantamweight as well, is something else I want to mention here. Swanson is a bantamweight. Barboza's a legit featherweight. Like, he's a lightweight, but he's moving down to featherweight. He's like Aldo, essentially. Like, he's a massive guy. Could still fit in with the division above, but he's massive compared to Giga Chikadze. They're going to be similar sized. He's not massive in comparison to the size of Chikadze, but he's massive in comparison to the former opponents of Giga Chikadze, because he's taken on some bantamweights, some guys that have fought low down in divisions. Emma's fought Corey Sandhagen. Brandon Davis has been down to bantamweight as well. Giga Chikadze's fought a lot of bantamweights. I think Edson Barboza's going to be a real shock to him. The speed, the volume. Maybe I could see Chikadze getting a head kick. I don't see that. I don't see that happening with Barboza. I think this is a good pick of Barboza. Very tough matchup, though. I respect that Chikadze is a very dangerous guy. Could finish the fight with any moment at all. I'm going to judge him off the majority and not on the specific best moments of his career. You know what I'm saying? I'm judging Barboza off the majority. It's every fight Barboza looks amazing. Chikadze has tough ones now and again. And again, I go back to this. Barboza's got a slick double leg. He's got a real slick double leg and it comes out of nowhere and you're in the middle of a striking fight with Barboza. You're kicking back and forth. You're throwing punches back and forth. Blast double leg underneath and he takes you down like he did against Paul Felder. He can use that here. Just to put a little bit of that doubt in Giga Chikadze's mind. Maybe if he's getting pressured in the last 2 rounds of the fight, he can just blast that and see what Chikadze's got on the ground. I doubt Chikadze's got anything amazing on the ground. Let's just be honest. I'm going to go with Edson Barboza here. For sure. I like the matchup for him. I really do like the matchup for him. And even the Gaethje loss that he had, he got fucking eye poked. And then he got fucking put down afterwards. I'm definitely going with Chikadze. Freudian slip. I'm going to go with Edson Barboza. For sure. That wasn't the subconscious correct prediction leaving my brain there at the end. I'm going with Barboza. I'm pretty certain about that. It's going to be a good fight, though. Really looking forward to this matchup. Great opportunity for both of them. And again, yeah, top position up for grabs. I think the winner of this fight is looking at the Korean Zombie. Seems to make the most sense as a matchup, especially if it's Edson Barboza. I'd love to see that shit. Even on a poster. Edson Barboza, the Korean Zombie. What's Barboza's nickname? Junior? It's Junior, innit? That's a shit nickname. Just going to end it there. It's a shit nickname. Why the fuck would you call yourself that? Junior? I get it if your dad's called Edson Barboza, but that's like your nickname for life. Not your fucking fighting career. Junior? Whatever. No wonder they don't fucking read it out, in all honesty, whenever they're announcing him. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Edson Barboza, 4 rounds to 1. Don't see Chikadze getting finished. I just think his legs are going to get chewed up early, and he's not going to be Chikadze out there. He's going to be a one-legged Georgian. Click up there. Toodle pip. See you later. Goodbye.